Landlords, you don't know what you don't know. There is a lot that goes into managing a property, and even experienced landlords find themselves on a daily learning new things, maybe about the law, about how to handle a certain situation. And maybe as a landlord, you don't know how to properly screen your tenant, that maybe this is where you can get the criminal record from, this is where you can get the employment background from. You don't know where to pick all that information from. Another example I can give you, maybe you don't know how to do a move-out inspection. So when the client is moving out of your property, what is the clear procedure for refund of security deposit, or deducting and making the repairs, or what sort of agreement or what sort of discussion happens within that, because it's also a very complicated process. And actually, I think a better example would be the lease example. A lot of people don't know how to clearly articulate clauses in their lease, or they don't know what actually goes into their lease. A lot of landlords have handed me their draft of a lease, and I find so many inconsistencies with what is in their lease and what is in the Landlord-Tenant Act. Things that are going to put them in trouble, especially if you get a tenant that is legally savvy. And it may not even actually be out of negligence. Maybe they picked a lease off from someone else that they trusted. But the simple case here is that you always need to have someone that is a professional and is well versed with what laws affect your market, to look at your lease and then advise you. Maybe this clause is out of date, maybe this clause gets you in trouble with the law, maybe this obligation is a bit stringent, and for the kind of market that you have and to attract clients, you may need to loosen it up. That is all advice that is going to come from a professional, someone that knows more than you know. And I'm going to say, yes, property managers don't usually know everything, but at least they know more. Rookie mistakes are going to cost you millions. So there is a reason why this whole property management thing is a profession. So my simple advice here for landlords, especially if you are starting out, is to get someone to hold your hand, to take you through this process, to teach you all these things, to teach you the system and how it works. Start with a professional property manager or a real estate manager that is going to help you to set up the systems, is going to educate you, is going to show you what is actually needed in this business of landlording. What are your obligations? What are the tenant obligations? How do you, for example, inspect the property when the developer is handing it over to you? How do you manage those contingencies that come up when you are in a dispute with a tenant? All those things are going to, trust me, happen to you during your landlording experience. And it is very, very stressful for you to actually go through this alone. And that is why I would say get a property manager from the start. Even bring them on board when you are still constructing, and you tell them, this is my block of 12, 13 units that I plan to have ready by January or by June next year. This is what I plan to do. Is it feasible? Let them advise you on obsolescence. Maybe you don't need to put as many finishes because the market doesn't support that. They're going to tell you all these things that you do not know. Again, it's a lot on the side that you don't know what you don't know. Maybe you think you have timed the market right, but they are going to have more information than you, simply because they are always in this thing every day. They are always renting properties. They are always moving out. They are always having interactions with clients, with other landlords. So trust me when I say they have more knowledge, more specific knowledge, more area knowledge, more professional knowledge than you ever will. So my advice here at the end of the day, for any landlord that is struggling, or any landlord that is starting out, or even for any experienced landlord, is to get a property manager on your team. Get someone to actually come in and advise you, a property consultant. There are very many professionals that are going to be actually willing to come and help you in your landlording journey. And if this sounds like something you'd be interested in, you can also kindly reach out to us at Quality Services Limited on all our social media platforms. We are a real estate services company that helps landlords like you to be legally compliant, to boost your revenues, and to have the right tenants in, to have full occupancy, to optimize your portfolio in general so that you have a happier landlording experience, stress-free and with the right partner. So I hope you enjoyed this Thoroughly Insights tip for today, and I'll see you in the next one. Please consider subscribing, following the channel, and liking the video if you found it helpful. Share it with other landlords who might be going through the same thing, but they don't actually know. This is what it means to actually be a good landlord, that you also help out others, just like the way the property manager wants to be your partner. So I hope you enjoyed this, and again, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.